Nicely done.
Not true. That's the name of a cartoon my daughter loves on Nickelodeon. So Janice and Picard have this moment, which I told you before we started the show. I couldn't stop. I had to pause the episode. I couldn't stop laughing.
Right, where she confronts him. She's like, "Hey,
what
what's
the fuck?
Up? Well,
Okay, the fuck?
Okay, the fuck? We used to be in love."
And he's like, "I was afraid." And she's like, "You're not supposed to tell me the truth. You're supposed to tell me a lie." Like, and he's like, "Oh, a lie? Well, I got the days wrong. I thought it was Tuesday when it was Wednesday." And I just the way he delivers it, I couldn't stop laughing.
He just turns it around, like, immediately. Well, he doesn't get a lot of chance to be funny on the show, so it's always nice to see him kind of rattle something off like that and remember what great timing he actually has.
You know who has great comic timing? Charlie Day. Of It's Always Sunny and Pacific Rim fame.
How is he in the movie?
He's great. There's one part where he says, like, someone's like, "What are you trying to do?" And he's like, "That's classified. I couldn't tell you even if I wanted to." Which I want to because it's awesome. All right, I'm going to tell you.
I can't wait to see this movie.
So there's also a point with Picard and Dr. Mannheim, the dude, and he's like, "My wife told me about you." Like, right then, even I was like, "Oh, fuck." Like, I was like, "Oh, Picard, how are you going to talk yourself out of this one, man?" And he's like...
Because we all know Picard's good at talking his way out of shit.
And he's like, "What did she tell you?" And he's like, "She told me enough. Look, if I don't make it, I need you to take care of her."
Yeah, like, fill her needs?
And Picard's like,
"All right.
Done." Absolutely.
Make it so. Engage.
So Data figures out how to, like, there's basically like 3 timelines going around.
Right.
One in the future, one in the past, and then the prime timeline.
There's that awesome moment where he and Riker and Picard step onto the turbo lift, and then they walk up behind themselves to get on the turbo lift. And the point of view switches from the turbo lift to the versions of them outside the turbo lift, and Data's the only one unfazed by it. He's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, and Picard's like, "I need you to handle this." And Data's like, "Because I'm a machine, I'm indispensable. That makes sense." And Picard's like, "No, dude, you're indispensable.
It's because you're awesome at time."
It's like, no, like, I need you to handle this because you're a fucking BAMF. Like,
You're
not because you're a robot and we're like, oh, whatever. Like,
send the robot to do it.
But because you're, like, badass. Also, like, this doesn't affect you because you're just like, what? Like, you get time. We're like, whoa.
Right, you're the Mozart of time.
All right, so fucking do this.
The Traveler told me, I can tell you, you're an adult.
You're an adult robot.
Don't tell Wesley.
And so Data goes down there. He has to...
There's a really neat effect in that scene where he's down there. Like
first he has to blow up this laser arm or laser phaser because
that's his move. Though.
Yeah.
He knows about laser arms, as we established.
So he gets the antimatter going, and like you said, the camera effect is really cool. And then the 3 Data show up, and.
And he's like, which one of us is real?
And the one in the middle is like, I thought they were going to fight for a second. Right. Like, that's me. No, it's me.
But then the one in the middle is like, me.
Like, which makes sense, because, I mean, like, future, present, past. Or
right.
Past, present, future, whatever. However you want to look at it. The present's always in the middle.
Yep.
And so he fixes it, and everything's returned to normal. The doctor, like, returns to normal. Like,
right, his time sickness goes away.
Yeah, and so he's like, I got to go back and finish my experiments. And
because I have learned nothing from the last.
Apparently. And so... And
she agrees to go back. At first she's like, oh, let's do that. Let's do something else. And he's like, but we have to, or else all those people who died for nothing. He's like, well, they're already dead, so what do they care?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, everything happens for a reason. These people died so that I would be allowed to finish this experiment.
They're not in Ragnarok being like, well, I wish he'd finish his time experiments, otherwise we're here for no reason.
They're in Valhalla feasting and...
But yeah, Janice is like, all right, I'll go with you. And then, so Troy does a holodeck thing again with Paris.
She makes a play date, yeah.
And Picard and her have a proper goodbye.
They drink some champagne.
Some champagne.
Yeah.
And Janice is you always come charging to my rescue.
And you always must. And he's like, I'll do my best.
And then they...
Dr. Crusher's a little jealous of this.
Oh,
in this
yeah.
episode. They hint at it. They don't go full bore.
No, I mean...
She out and out says it. Like,
yeah.
I can't compete with that.
Yeah, like, Troy's like, we need to talk about your feelings. And she's like, I can't compete with a ghost. And she's like, she's not a ghost. She's right there. But yeah, Dr. Crusher, like, she wants to bone down with Picard. Well, it just makes sense. Like, this dude's the guy responsible for my husband's death.
He's kind of playing surrogate father to my son.
It just makes sense that we connect wee-wees.
Right. As we said in medical school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they have a proper goodbye. I think it was it David on the Facebook page who said, called him
Josh,
out.
I think.
It was Josh who called him out for,
like,
having a drink.
It was like, what's up with this creepy, and which I was like, this whole episode's kind of like just an excuse for Picard to, like, scam on this dude's wife. Like, look, yeah, dude, you have a history, but, like, that's it. Like, you know.
Right. Like, you've got, it doesn't mean that you have some claim on her.
It's like, you know, girls that I've dated in the past or, you know, with dudes,
they don't owe
married.
Me
yeah, it's like,
now.
Like, you know, good for you. Like, obviously, like, it didn't work out with us for whatever reason.
Right. If their husbands die, it's not like, I'm next on the list.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, that was me. I was there first.
Right.
Picardy.
It's not like there's a line of succession in... but Picard's... That's all he's about is line of succession. Crusher, Janice...
He's like, he's like, look
I'm
at all
runner-up in a lot of contests.
Yeah, like, I put in the groundwork early on a lot of different women.
I'm 3 years into a 9-year jackpot right now.
The next episode is Conspiracy.
This one I thought might have been directed by David Cronenberg by the time it was over.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
It was grody. I found it viscerally upsetting in places.
This is the payoff. Well, the first payoff to coming of age.
Right.
That storyline that was put into effect.
Right, when Commander Remick and Admiral...
What's his face? What's his tits?
Was it Quinn?
Savar.
Savar?
Aaron?
I can't remember.
One of them. They were like, hey, some shit's going down. I need to know who I can trust. There's one interesting point about this is apparently, I guess it's a Klingon thing. Worf does not like bathing.
Mm-mm.
Like,
it's too much like bathing.
Like,
they're talking about how they're all going to go swimming.
Yeah.
They're going to have a pool party.
And Worf's like, I don't like swimming. It reminds me too much of bathing. And just the way, like, the look on his face and the way he says, like, dude, it's just water, guy. Like, calm down.
Yeah, I guess maybe Klingons are, like, natural clean. I mean, you'd
They're
think
like
that
cats.
They clean themselves.
Yeah.
They just lick themselves
Oh,
clean.
I didn't say that. I don't...
Like, licking their balls and shit.
Yeah.
That's why Worf doesn't seem to get sex nuts like Spock did.
And he's like, why not?
If Spock could have just licked his nuts.
Yeah. Klingons are known for their flexibility.
But seriously, you'd think that, like, if he smelled, there would be a problem on the ship. Or do you think that tolerance in Starfleet extends to, like, no, even if somebody smells bad, we still have to accept it. That's part of the species.
If it was like Wesley, be like, dude, bro, like, put on some Dio. Like, what's up with that?
Right, but another culture, another species,
like,
you have to kind of...
the way they smell.
Tolerance.
So they're ready to go to shore leave.
On Pacifica.
And
right?
They get a message from Walter Keel, who was a captain of the Horatio, and they're like, hey, we need help here, and then they find it, and it's blowed up. Boom!
That's right.
And
doesn't Picard get summoned to
he gets a secret meeting.
Right.
And
the Illuminati, shadow government.
And he doesn't tell anyone about it. They're like, because they're on the way to Pacifica, and they've got like 22 hours before they get there.
Right.
And he's like, and Picard tells Geordi, like, set a course for this place. And they're like, but they're expecting us on Pacifica. And he's like, don't worry about that. Just no, I want no logs of this either. And everyone's just like, whoa, what's up with that?
Right.
And so he talks to the dudes, and they're like, they meet in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
And like 2 of them got phasers set to them. And he's like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, hey, dude, what's up? Remember when you introduced Dr. Crusher to her husband? And he's like, no, you did that. He's like, actually, it was my brother. He's like, you don't have a brother. You have 2 sisters. What the fuck is going on here? He's like, and then he like tells him like, all right, put the phasers down. It's cool.
He's cool.
This guy's legit. And he's like, there's some shit going on.
That shit's fucked up.
Shit's all fucked up in Starfleet. We don't know what's going on. Well, it turns out there's these little parasites that, that they crawl into your mouth. And I guess
they settle at the base of your like
right at the
base of your brain
right
/
spinal cord, right in the cerebellum,
right.
And they stick their little butthole out of your neck, so you got a little like thorn sticking out of your neck. So
right.
That's how you know.
So you can never lay on your back when you sleep again.
Well, no, it's not. I mean,
it'd be uncomfortable. It'd be like if you had a giant nipple on the back of your neck. Like you'd always feel
like a giant nipple.
Yeah, well, it'd have to be a
giant
big
pointy nipple.
It'd have to be big enough. Like, and constantly erect nipple, too. It's not like it ever takes a break.
And so they bring on the old dude. Well, God, what is his goddamn name?
I think it's Emerald Quinn.
Quinn, yeah, they get Quinn. They bring him on.
Because they're like, oh, we can trust you. You asked me to be head of Starfleet Academy.
It's like, you're the one who like told me about this.
Right.
They got to him. And so...
He's got a little laptop case with a mouth wig in it.
And so they bring him to his quarters or whatever, and he beats the shit out of Riker.
Seriously, Riker does like a high kick in this, like, too. Like, did you...
No, he eats it. Quinn kicks Riker with that kick.
Oh,
like, just like standing there, just like...
And he falls through a glass table, and that's how you know he's out.
And so, because he's like, let me call Dr. Crusher, and he's like, I don't want the doctor, I want you! Or they want you! And he's like, fuck? Then Geordi shows up, gets his ass beat.
Right.
And then Worf shows up, and just like, this like, whole season's like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for, bring it! And he gets his ass kicked. Easily.
He is just taken right down.
I mean, like, that's what Klingons, that's what they do. They fight, they're warriors. Like, he couldn't have gotten he gets some licks in, but only because the dude lets him.
But he still goes down pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like, he goes down about as easy as Riker did.
And then Crusher shows up.
Even Spock was a better fighter than Worf. Like, Spock could kick some ass when he felt like it.
And, like, I don't know, I thought they were supposed to be a lot stronger than humans.
Feel free to write in and let us know the relative strengths.
Well, I know Vulcans are like 3 times as strong, right?
Right.
So
Klingons have got to be pretty tough. I mean, they're built for warfare.
That's what they do. That's what they do. That's all they do. That's all they know. And so Crusher shows up with a phaser, and boom, six that sucker good.
She has to set it to kill.
So they figure out like, oh hey, like this dude's infected, and they see the thing on the back of his neck.
That was a pretty cool effect too, I thought, for the time. Like when they actually have the computer readout, and it looked pretty good.
And so Picard is hanging out with the other homies who
down on Earth.
Yeah, down at the headquarters, and they're like, "Hey, like you guys
come to dinner.
Come to dinner." And they're eating worms.
Yeah, he comes to the dinner
like maggots.
Yeah, and they open and it's just a tub of worms,
like mealworms.
Yeah, and they just start like eating it up with their fingers,
and they're like, "Oh, this is delicious." And Picard's like, "Oh, all you guys are infected. I'm dipping out." Riker shows up, and he's like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "God damn it!" And he sits down, and they're like, "Wait, we weren't expecting you." And they show the back of the neck. They're like, "Oh, yeah, he's infected for sure."
He's good.
And he's like, yeah, like Riker showed up, unexpectedly, so I had to take care of him. So that's why I'm here. And they're like,
right.
That makes sense. And then Riker is like, he's kind of like playing with his worms for a little bit. And then he grabs a phaser and it's like, blam! And then another one, and then, so they're like, oh shit, what's going on? And Picard has to disarm another one. And there's like a little shootout.
Right.
One of them ends up dipping out, leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And Picard's like, okay, the fuck? And he's like, oh, it's just a temporary, it's a clip-on, not a big deal. Like, we know what's going on.
Right. And then one of the mouth wigs gets out, right?
Yeah, well, when they kill the people, like, they crawl out of their mouth.
Right.
And then they...
So Picard just killed all of Starfleet High Command?
Not all of them.
But, like, the 3 big wigs.
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Picard and Riker did, yeah. And so they follow the little...
I really like the effect. It's clearly claymation.
Like, it reminded me of the Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer video.